Hey everyone, welcome back to Vanta EDC. Today I want to do a roughly 3-month review of this little guy here, the Klein 8-in-1 Stubby driver. And yeah, this is a driver that I got about 3 months ago. I think I got it just from a local Home Depot. And I got it when I started carrying a EDC sling bag because I wanted to have a driver on hand that was multifunctional, I guess you could say, and portable and compact, a lot of features. And so I think I kind of not struck gold. I don't want to be that dramatic about it, but I think this was a great find for my first EDC driver because there's a lot of great things about this. So we'll get into that, but yeah, just quickly I'll kind of show you the overall look of it. Basically, it's got this rubberized grip. It's got this metal socket here. It's got like a plastic chassis or body or whatever you call it, and just the rubberized coating around certain parts. And for comparison, just so y'all excuse me, have a point of reference, this is a standard like Stubby driver, so it's a little bit taller, probably like an inch and a half taller. Ignore the bit there. And then in terms of diameter, it's barely wider. It's maybe a little bit wider, but not all that much. So yeah, in case you have one of those, that's gives you a little bit of reference, hopefully. So yeah, there's a lot of things I like about this, especially I think at Home Depot it's like $15 or less. So especially what you're paying for it compared to a lot of these more like either boutique or high-end EDC drivers, which can be up to or beyond $100 even. This is a lot of features for a lot less money. So bang for your buck basically, which I'm a big fan of. So yeah, I'll just get into a lot of the features, the details of this that I really enjoy and appreciate. The first one is that it comes with and designed for this extendable socket head. So it has, I believe, 3 positions. So this is the shortest position. That's the next shortest position. You hear it locking, and then that's the longest position right there. And then if you go further, then you can actually remove this socket extension. And so the nice thing is, in case you have other drivers and maybe this is not the best driver at the moment, but you need an extension, you also have an extension. You can, obviously this is not a good example because this is even shorter than the other one, but you can take this extension, and it's a standard 1/4 inch hex head, so you can use it for another driver that you might have on hand that might be more appropriate for whatever task you have. So I really like that. And on top of that, I like that it comes with that it's designed for that. And then I like the way that you can adjust the length. It's this metallic ring right here. You see this little gap between the plastic and the metal here. So basically what you do is you depress it, you pull it downward, and then it, I guess, somehow loosens around these grooves here in the shaft of the socket extension. So yeah, you notice how it pops back into place, and you hear it click when it locks around one of those grooves. So it's a really intuitive and simple but effective design way to adjust the length. So yeah, I think that's, to me, the biggest feature that stands out. Now the next one is that you notice it says 8-in-1. This comes with 8 bits. Now I can't speak to the quality of the bits because I haven't done any real intense usage with them. I haven't put them in a impact driver or anything to really push them to their limits, so I can't speak to the steel that they use and the quality of the bits. But just the fact that it has the storage capability to have 8 bits, and it comes with these bits, so you don't have to supply them yourself. It comes with these bits. It's really nice. So I think it's 3/16 flathead, a 1/4 inch flathead, Phillips head 1, 2, and 3, and then this random like square. It says S1, I think is what it says there. This random like square bit. So this is the most random one to me, but all the other ones are obviously very standard size and whatnot. And I think, actually, now that I think about it, I don't know where I put the 8. Or does it come with 8 bits or 7 bits? I can't remember if it comes with 8 bits or 7 bits, but there's storage for 7 only, and then the 8th would be in the head of the driver itself. So 8-in-1, meaning 8 total at any given time. So yeah, that's really a nice feature as well, because I think, especially if you want to you know, minimize the overall volume you take up with all the different tools and bits that you have on you, especially for me putting this in a bag. Space isn't at a true premium, but at the same time, I don't want to have a bunch of random loose stuff. It's nice that these bits stay with the driver. I don't have to worry about getting a little cassette of bits when I pull this driver out. I can just immediately pop this open, grab my bit, put it in, and then go to work. So yeah, that's another great feature of this. Now on top of that, it doesn't say it in the name, but this is also a spinning driver. Now, caveat, it's not a free spinning driver like on bearings. It doesn't just fidget forever. It literally does the opposite. It's like it only turns as much as you turn it. But all the same, basically, when you have it extended like this, I'm able, notice I'm holding the tail stationary, and I can rotate it like this, right? So depending on your hand size, this might be more usable or less usable. For me, it's a little tricky at times, I guess, especially turning to the left. But turning to the right, it's not too tricky, where basically I snag the base of the tail with my ring finger here and pinch it against the inside of my palm, and I'm able to spin the driver either way. It doesn't ratchet, it doesn't, there's no like springs or cranking going on here, but just the fact that you can do that instead of having to just manually twist the whole deal when you're trying to actually tighten or loosen screws and whatnot. That's a really nice feature. So yeah, again, I'm serious. Like this is, I think the title I'm gonna put on this video is like, this is just such an overlooked driver. I don't know why it just either flies under the radar because maybe Klein is not a brand, like a, you know, EDC world brand or something like that. But yeah, this thing is great. The last two features that I want to mention is that it has this rubberized grip here, both on the tail and then primarily here. And notice, of course, there's grooves here, so it's just got great traction for you. It's gonna be hard to slip off. You either fall into the grooves or just the rubber itself is just really grippy. So a lot of good traction there for when you are turning, tightening or loosening stuff. And then the last thing is the socket itself is magnetic. So yeah, you hear it kind of suck in. There we go. Yeah. So see, like, it's a magnetic socket head, socket. So, extra security for when you actually are using this thing. Maybe, working on stuff that's facing downward and whatnot. So, those are a lot of the small details and the features of this that I particularly appreciate and have, benefited from. Now, all things considered, there's relatively few things I dislike and would change if I could. I think, it'd be great if Klein or whoever designed this Klein licensed this design out to someone who's willing to make a more premium version with, more premium materials and maybe have like a more free spinning, tail cap like this. But that notwithstanding, for the price you're paying, there's very few things that I feel like could be changed. So really the only two things that I don't love about this is that when you have the tail extended like this and you're trying to spin, the tail cap doesn't lock outward or like doesn't lock in this position. So basically, see how easy, there's very little effort to retract the tail or the butt end of it. And that's kind of frustrating, especially when you're turning, and I was mentioning to the left, it's kind of hard to show it on camera, but basically it's really easy to just spin that closed. You really have to be very intentionally creating tension between the tail and the body of the driver in order to prevent it from spinning downward and closing. So, it's not the worst thing, but it's also something that does require intentional effort to avoid happening. So I don't know, I guess just given that this spinning feature is built into this, I feel like it wasn't optimally executed in terms of making sure that you can spin in a sustainable and easy, a way that's the most easy. But it's not terrible, it's just something to note. And then the other thing that I think is kind of like a point of frustration is you would think because there's all this storage, you can customize which bits you want to put in here. Now the problem is the capacity, like the overall height of this compartment is relatively short. So all these standard height hex bits, a 1/4 inch hex bits that I have, they are too tall to physically fit in, and there's no like hollowed out area here for like the heads, the tip of the heads to fit in. So truly, you can only fit heads that are this less than this distance right here. And so it's just not a standard. That's not this. I don't think that's the standardized length for hex bits. So if you like, for me, if I want to swap out this square bit, I don't have this short enough driver bits to put in here. So it's not great in that respect. But at the end of the day, I'm willing, because this doesn't come with any Torx bits. I just have a set of Torx bits in my EDC bag with me if I need that. And I've also, in my EDC pouch, I've been carrying a precision driver with a T8 and T6. So, you know, that gets the job done a lot of the time when I'm really, it comes down to me like tightening the pivots on certain eyes, like my Mordax. But anyway, yeah, so there's really the only two things that I don't dislike or wish would be improved upon. Overall, this is, again, like I mentioned it before, but this is great bang for your buck. I don't know why this isn't something I like. There's the channel Max Level EDC, I think, is a great channel. Not just mainly for tools, not just knife focused EDC content. So, but yeah, like he did this very comprehensive survey of a lot of the like a huge number of EDC screwdrivers out there, which a lot of which I had never heard about before watching his video. But I don't think this was in there. Which I don't know if, yeah, you know, like that's not me trying to criticize him in any way. It's just, I don't know if this is just like a new thing. This item is like a relatively new item, or for whatever reason, it just doesn't register on most people's radars when in the EDC world. So, you know, it's not glamorous. It's not made with high-end materials, but for me, this is a very functional tool. It is a little bulky, but you know, that's what you're getting when you get bit storage and whatnot. So, all things considered, I feel like this is a great deal. You know, I don't see myself ever slipping this in my pockets, or, you know, it honestly is too bulky to comfortably fit in the pouch that I currently use, the Maxpedition Mini. But it's just nice to have, like, in my bag. I have space in my bag to just have this kind of, not free floating, but, you know, stored within one of the compartments. And yeah, it's proven useful here and there. So, you know, you get a lot of functionality out of a very small, compact package. So yeah, at the very least, I think you can find it at Home Depot. Probably look on Amazon too. It's probably there as well. I can't say for certain. I don't get paid by them. Obviously, I don't get paid by anybody to do any reviews. So I don't know where you can get these other than Home Depot. But you know, if you're looking for you know, a feature packed budget EDC driver, this is a strong recommend from me. So yeah, until next time, take care.